Hey everyone, I am Nixie and welcome to my spooky Halloween manga recommendations. So I feel like I've got something for everyone here on this list. I'm sure that there's something from this list that you will enjoy. So I'm going to try and not make this a video super long, so let's go ahead and get into it. So these are the manga that I feel really suit the season at the minute. And it ranges from sort of like more cutesy kind of horror to gore and just disturbing stuff. So in no particular order, let's get into it. The first one that I have is From the Red Fog. So this is not a huge commitment. This is only 5 volumes and the 5th volume actually comes out this month. And I feel like not a lot of people talk about this one, but this is basically about a boy who is trying to find his mother after she abandoned him, and she used to keep him chained up in the basement where he would basically murder the maids that he was given. So there's a lot of like killing in this, a bit of gore in this, but the story and the plot is very interesting, and to see like his journey into finding his mother, finding out who she was, and all that sort of stuff. Like I say, it's coming to its climax this month, so it's a great time to go ahead and pick this up. The artwork that's in it as well is really like dark, and you can tell that it's not a very like pleasant world, but yeah, it's really interesting artwork, and like I say, there is gore in this, lots of murder, but it's a really great read. So next up we have Phantom Tales of the Night. So this is about an innkeeper who basically takes different people in, and instead of charging them money, he wants to know their like deepest darkest secret, and that's payment for like staying in the inn. So it's kind of like a bunch of like shorter stories, like meeting lots of different people. There is like a bit of body horror in this, but it's very interesting. I really like the artwork. It is still an ongoing series as well, but yeah, this is a really fun read, very interesting. Like I say, a little bit of body horror in this, but yeah, lots of definitely a fun read. Next we have one of the more like disturbing titles on this list. We have MADK. So this is a BL. This is about a guy who has a fixation with like the occult, demonology, and the underworld. He is trying to summon his own demon to satisfy his own needs. Like, he's very aware that he's like not a particularly great person. The first chapter as well in this is kind of shocking what he gets up to. This is a BL as well, so this is all about like the underworld and demons and that sort of thing. It is quite messed up. This is only 3 volumes long. The conclusion comes out in January, but this does have some of my absolute favorite artwork. It's like some of my absolute favorite artwork. Like, I love this creator. This creator also does Atos as a line, which you can get, which is an omnibus of like short stories. He does a lot of like beast and mythical creatures, but very beautifully drawn. And like I said, this one is one of the more like disturbing stories that they've done. But yeah, so if you want definitely something different to add to your BL collection, go ahead and pick this up, even though like it is kind of disturbing. It is a really interesting read as well. Next we have from Ice Press, we have The Horizon. This absolutely had to be on this list for me because it's very disturbing, like the artwork, and it makes you feel like very uncomfortable. So this story follows these 2 children that meet in a like post-war like world where it's not very happy. Like, things don't go right. People are so like, they're obviously like very terrified, very uncertain, and this makes people like quite scary to encounter. And these this poor boy and girl, it's just like they're having an awful time as well. but it's one of those where like you can't stop reading, and it's a very like aggressive art style, and there's like not a lot of dialogue in it, but it's like very emotional, and like I say, it is quite disturbing, which is why I wanted to like put this on this list. But yeah, so it's a very like war-ridden world, and yeah, it's not a particularly happy read. Next we have vampires. How can we have a Halloween list without vampires? So we have Momo the Blood Taker. This is only going to be 9 volumes long, so it's like not going to be a huge commitment. Volume 6 just came out. It like hit my doorstep earlier today. So this is about a guy who works who's a detective, works on the police force, and he is trying to hunt down a vampire with 2 faces. And he uncovers a whole crazy world of vampires. It's very action-packed. There is obviously like gore in it, which you would expect kind of like from a vampire story. It's very intriguing, and like I say, it's only going to be 9 volumes, and we've sort of like hit a like a new arc in the story as well, but I'm not entirely sure where it's gonna go. But yeah, this had me flipping pages very, very quickly. I wanted to show you some of the artwork, but a lot of it like in this volume is like gore, but we love vampires here, and this is one of the ones that I really do recommend to pick up if you're interested in vampires. Next up we have a BL, which is quite disturbing, and that is In These Words. So you can get this directly from Guilt Pleasures, so that's where they sell the physicals. This is about a professor who is brought on to help to try and find a serial killer, but it gets very, very dark. And it is pretty messed up as well. There is like torture in this, being held like captive, that sort of stuff. It is uncensored as well, but it's a very nice artwork. There is like gore in this, like I say, torture, like sexual assault, that sort of thing. But it is a very interesting story, like lots of like twists and turns in this, which is why I don't want to say too much about the story, because I don't want to like give it away. But yeah, so this is a very interesting like murder mystery BL that I highly recommend, but it's definitely not for the faint of heart. Next we have more vampires, of course. We have Mars Red. So there is like an anime, there is like various adaptations of this like story, but yeah, this is about vampires. This is only 3 volumes, so it's like not a big commitment whatsoever, and all 3 volumes are out now. So this is about a journalist who is trying to find her friend who was murdered, but she comes across someone who looks very much like him, which leaves her very, very confused. She's trying to like research about a string of murders that's been happening lately, relating to like vampires and that sort of thing. I really liked this because it does have a story about like more like feral vampires that only have like their instincts and stuff, and then like higher vampires who are like really intelligent. I did feel like that the ending could have like maybe played out a little bit longer, but I did still enjoy this a lot nonetheless, and like I say, it's only 3 volumes, so it's not a huge commitment anyway. But yeah, it was still a very enjoyable read, and I did like the artwork as well in it, and I did really like all the characters as well that were part of this like task force to go and try and find these like vampires and where they were like coming from. Next up we have just a one shot that is Boys of the Dead. So this is kind of like a bittersweet volume, and I don't feel like it's talked about a lot. So this is about it has beautiful artwork as well. So this is like a bunch of short stories about these like couples like a couple of characters and stuff, but they all sort of like intertwine into like one story sort of thing. But yeah, it's a very bittersweet like bunch of short stories, and it's about a world where it's like the zombie apocalypse has happened, and it's people trying to like survive that or get through that like that time. But like I say, it's not like all sunflowers and roses. It's very dark and it's quite sad in some parts, but yeah, this is like, I enjoyed this so much more than what I thought I would when it like first came out from Kuma, and I was kind of like, okay, I'll like give it a shot, and I'm so like happy that like I did, because like I say, the artwork's beautiful. I did really enjoy the stories and like the setting of the stories as well. So if you're looking for some zombie stories, then go ahead and pick this one up. Then we have Dark Gathering. So we are currently on volume 3. I'm not entirely sure how long it's gonna be. I think it's an ongoing series. So this is about a guy who can see spirits and attracts them. He's definitely afraid of them, and him and his best friend got cursed by spirits, so he's wanting to lift that curse. And he comes across this lady here on the cover, who happens to be his best friend's cousin. He takes up a job tutoring her, but she has a very specific reason as to why she's trying to hunt down these spirits. But not only does it have that supernatural element to it, which makes it creepy anyway, it also, like, come volume 2, there's a very like realistic thing that happens that makes it even more of a creepy read, and I have thoroughly been enjoying this. So if you want something that has supernatural elements as well as real life like spooky stuff, then go ahead and pick this one up. I of course cannot have vampires without werewolves on this list, so we have a BL, which is a Coyote from my absolute favorite manga creator ever, Ranmaru Zarya. So this is an ongoing series. The artwork is stunning. Like, I absolutely love the way that she draws her like characters, or like, they're so beautiful. So this is by Coyote, who is this guy here, who is half human, half werewolf. This is in a world where werewolves are very much hunted by a group of humans. So there's very much a human v werewolf war going off. That's the like main plot of it, but Coyote meets this guy, Marlene. But yeah, so he meets a guy called Marlene in this bar. He plays piano, and they sort of like get drawn to each other. Like, Marlene very much chases after Coyote. But yeah, Marlene has a connection a lot deeper into this world than what Coyote realizes and first knows about. So there's very much like a lot of like plot happening in this, as well as like a love story. There's a lot of like character development, a lot of like ups and downs within this story, and I absolutely love this so much. We're on volume 4 at the minute, but it's an ongoing series, and these volumes cannot come out quick enough. Next we have a cute little read. We have Creepy Cat. So this is a 4-volume series that has now wrapped up, and this is basically like little like really little page stories about this lady and her like little cat. It's super adorable. Like you've just seen, it's full color. It's very much what cats are like. And it's just like, if you want something where you can like pick it up, read like a few pages or whatever, and then like, you know, pull it down for a little while, then this is for you if you like cats. It's a very adorable read. It is kind of like Nights with the Cat, that sort of like similar premise, but yeah, like I say, it's super cute, but within that like gothic theme as well. But yeah, this is, like I say, super cute read. Then we have more vampires. I didn't realize like actually how much like vampire stuff I did pick out for this list. So we have Frozen Blood. This isn't the most like in-depth, you know, big plots, deep characters, that sort of thing. It is only 5 volumes, so it's not a huge commitment. The 5th volume comes out this month actually, or is slated to. This has gorgeous artwork. Like, it's super pretty. The way that like the characters and stuff are drawn in this. So this is about Stella, who wakes up in this mansion, and she's basically gonna be the maid there. However, the 4 occupants that are in this mansion are a little bit strange to Stella, and that is because they are vampires. There is a bit of a twist on like how they take their like substance. So this is done through like blood crystals rather than like sucking the blood out of people. So I think that that's very interesting for this, but it is obviously like a shoujo manga. Like I say, it's nothing too deep. It does get more enjoyable as the series goes on, I feel like. So yeah, this is about a lady in a mansion full of vampires. Then we have a GL, we have Vampires. I really enjoyed this series as well. Volume 3 just came out last month. So this is about a lady who comes across a vampire. She knows that she's a vampire and she doesn't care because she's absolutely infatuated with this vampire. She's basically like, let me be your source of like blood, don't take it from anyone else, like it has to be me. And she becomes like literally obsessed. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one. It was a cute it was a really enjoyable like GL vampire story. I love the way that these are presented as well, with the little flappies. I always say this from Dempa. But yeah, so if you want a GL that is within obviously the spooky season, then definitely go ahead and check this one out. It's a very enjoyable read. Then we have Trojan X. Now this may be a little bit of a surprise if you saw my last video when I got volume 3 of this, because I was kind of a little bit lukewarm to this series, but after volume 3 I am absolutely 100% sold on this series. It gets juicy, people. So this is a world where people have these, like, I guess almost like superpowers, these abilities that can manifest when someone has really strong emotional reactions to stuff, when they're very emotionally heightened. They can manifest these powers, which are called Trojan. So this could be like beast powers, like mind powers, elemental powers, that sort of thing. So this is about a boy who gets in some trouble. Well, these are a couple of boys who get in some trouble with these other children that are out of hand. And during this attack, one of them basically turns into a Trojan himself. So it's about his story. Like I say, volume 3 got extremely juicy. And I actually now kind of wait until to see where this story goes. It is the same creator as Tokyo Ghoul, so you know the artwork's very good. And very interesting, very dark as well. But yeah, so if you're a fan of Tokyo Ghoul, like that creator's work, then definitely go ahead and pick this one up. Okay, back to vampires. Next we have my favorite, well, one of my favorite, probably top 3 vampire stories, and that is Fangs. So this is a BL. This is about N, who is this guy here. He is basically wrong place, wrong time. He gets caught up in a vampire attack and ends up turning into a vampire. He's obviously very scared and doesn't know what's going off. Enter Ichi, this absolute dreamboat of a vampire. He basically works with this organization which is called Fangs, which is obviously to ensure that the vampires of the world are keeping in check, they're staying healthy, not attacking humans, all that sort of thing. So he becomes basically End's guardian to help him adjust to his new life as a vampire. It is a spicy read. There is an overall plot, like it isn't just that like a drama happens, things happen, and obviously with this vampire attack that happened, there's a deep investigation into like who did that and why they did that. But the artwork is absolutely gorgeous. Ichi is the most gorgeous vampire like ever. Like you cannot tell me otherwise. Like look how good he looks in a suit. Absolutely beautiful vampire. So yeah, if you want something a little bit spicy, a BL with like a very interesting plotline, go ahead, pick this one up. Okay, and next we have Boys Abyss. So we have volume 2 so far. It is an ongoing series. So this is about a guy who lives in a very small like village town, where the most interesting thing that's happened there has been a like double suicide pact between a couple. He's very like depressed and sort of like quite a hollow person. Like there's like barely any emotion inside this poor guy, and he meets a idol who's working at a shop, working at the store, who is also not in the best like headspace either, and so they sort of have a pact to unalive themselves together. It's quite a hard read in some places. Like some of the characters that are in this, like they all have like a lot of like demons to deal with, but I did really enjoy this. I enjoyed it more than what I thought I was going to when I first read this, although I know that there's like a lot of people that were really excited when this got licensed. There is like sexual content in this, which I wasn't expecting, I wasn't aware of when I like first got it. But yeah, there's a lot of like you don't know what's happening to people behind closed doors. Like that is sort of like that kind of story. Very dark, but yeah, a great read as well. And then the final one on this list, of course, is a vampire story. So we have hashtag DRCL Midnight Children. So this recently just came out. This has the most gorgeous artwork ever. I spoke about it in my whole video when this came out. Like this artwork, like Sakamoto's artwork is just so unbelievably gorgeous. Like I really liked the artwork on this. Absolutely phenomenal. Like the detail that is like in this is unbelievable. Like I was instantly like floored by this. So it is a retelling of the classic Dracula story from Bram Stoker, based in Whitby. But yeah, very interesting. Like I love Dracula, I love vampires, obviously. This did not disappoint, and I love the fact that Viz gave this the hardcover treatment as well. Like it makes it like a really special piece in the collection. I feel like I say, the artwork just like blows me away every time I see it. So guys, that is everything that I picked for this list for spooky season reads. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you find something from this list, hopefully, that you haven't picked up yet that has piqued your interest. If you have, leave a comment down below. Let me know which ones you will be reading this spooky season. Don't forget to like and subscribe as well. It would really help out the channel, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye everyone.